Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Hello again, St. Lucia, and welcome to the program, Agriculture on the Move. I am Philip Sidney, your host. Today we are discussing the International Cooperatives Day, which is celebrated on Saturday, which is supposed to be the first Saturday in July, and of course that's the 3rd of July. Under the theme, Rebuild Better Together. To discuss this issue are two gentlemen with me in studio, and to my immediate right is Mr. Egbert Stevens, who is the Registrar of Cooperatives in the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries, Natural Resources and Cooperatives, and Mr. Jermaine Hunte, who is the Manager of the Credit Union League. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Welcome. Thank you, Mr. Sidney.
Great. Okay, today we want to have a very lively discussion because we want to know from you, Mr. Stevens, about the International Cooperatives Day. What are we commemorating? What are we celebrating? And why are we celebrating?
Well, International Cooperatives Day, Mr. Sidney, thank you, is a day set aside by the United Nations for the recognition of cooperatives across the world. They have recognized the worth of cooperatives and has deemed it necessary to give them a day for them to not just showcase, but really remind the rest of the world that cooperatives are important and they are changing lives.
Okay. The theme, Rebuild Better Together. So you're looking at collaboration. Tell us a little more.
Well, I don't think that they could have got a better theme coming out of the pandemic and everything else. Like, I think the cooperatives really need to look at rebuilding and to do it better, because cooperatives is about development. You know, there's a development aspect, there's a growth aspect to it. The 7 principles endorse that. They also endorse the Millennium Development Goals of relieving the poverty, building recognition for different sectors, women, youth, looking at development of people, concern for the environment and everything. And going forward, I think this theme is very, very timely, given that right now we are facing a pandemic which has caused a serious slowdown of the world in itself. And now we as human beings have to look at rebuilding our status, rebuilding ourselves, rebuilding our economies, rebuilding our relationships among us business persons. And a cooperative is also business. It's not just just to say it's a cooperative. It has an enterprise development part to it, that it itself must outlive its membership to live on for other members.
Mr. Hunt, let's look at the Credit Union League. Tell us about it. In other words, I mean, the objectives of that league. When was it established?
Okay. The league was established on January 26, 1977. Prior to the league being established, we have some stalwarts in the movement. You talk about Hayden Williams, Theresa Mason, and some others who were the pillars, I would say, of forming a movement, because the whole word cooperative, it comes from cooperation.
Yes.
So it was a cooperation amongst people building something better. I think the cooperatives and credit unions was formed out of necessity. If we go further back in the 1940s, or if we go to the 18th century, when poverty was rampant in like Germany, what happened is the same kudme we take for granted now in today's world. That is what was the basis of the formation of cooperatives and credit unions. The league in its mandate serves as the umbrella body for the credit unions and cooperatives. What we are what we are there for is to advocate, financial inclusion, regulations. We are the body who, I would say, like, we are the chief cheerleader, or the cheerleader in chief.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because we advocate for our members in whatever way, whether it's through bills, to sit with the government, and quite a few things. So the league plays its part to strengthening the movement, trying to keep the principles as our guide, especially with, I personally, since I've been with the league, I hold dear to my heart principle number 6, cooperation among cooperatives. Okay. I think as a movement, we can't do anything without this principle. Out of the 7, this is the one I have embedded in my heart. Yeah, because I think, especially in today's economy, when we talk about what the COVID pandemic has done to our island and the world afar, it's only through cooperation we can make it out. When you talk about the theme for Cooperative Day, you talk about rebuilding better together. Right now, we have to try our best to rebuild. We cannot stay there and say, well, you know what, the COVID had done X and Y. And for its part, the league has been integral in trying to rebuild with our members. If you want me to elaborate, we have realized that in the pandemic, persons have lost their jobs, So with the credit union movement, the movement came together and say, hey, we are offering moratoriums to our members. That is a way of safeguarding our membership, because we understand the times we were faced with, right. And even when we did it once for a certain period of time, when we realized people weren't back at work as yet, we went further with it, So those are the things we work together, because remember, in credit unions, we don't have clients, we have members. Yes. You understand? We have people, ownership, that's what we are. Our members own the credit unions. And that is what, I think that's the best kept secret, you understand? Because you are investing, as a member of a credit union, you are investing in something you own.
It's like a family.
Yeah, you understand? You get dividends. Yes. You understand? So the credit union does well, it doesn't go in somebody else's pocket, it comes in your pocket. You understand? And the real rebuilding better together is unity. That's the only way we can rebuild. Yes. You understand? So that is the league part. We try to create financial independence. You understand? Financial literacy. That we want to empower our members.
Right. Yeah. So what? Yeah, you're saying?
Yeah, I wanted to just add something quickly to what Mr. Hunte had just said. Too often, cooperatives forget each other, because we are the credit union sector, we are the farmer cooperatives, we are the fisher cooperatives. They forget that the membership that they serve goes across the board, okay. Right? So whereas you are a member of a credit union, we have fishermen, we have farmers in all of different communities who are members of those cooperatives also. And they need that togetherness, they need that understanding that the fisher cooperative is about helping the fisherman continue to go out and fish. Correct. He may need a small loan, or he may need a small loan for his farm to continue producing, because food security is something that they now are securing. So that togetherness is something that we need to remind ourselves, we need to remind the members that the principles of cooperatives, the 7 principles, were not there just for a show. They will really form the character of what a cooperative is.
Where does the Registrar of Cooperatives and the League, they are supposed to be in tandem. How are they working together?
Okay. While the Registrar of Cooperatives is not a registrar for the credit unions, but the fact is, our membership go across the board. Okay. And we have in every community, every district, so to speak, we have a credit union and another cooperative, which is a non-financial, be it a farmer or fisher or both. Now, if we were to just take, for instance, currently the department has just signed an MOU with ancillary. between Ancillary Credit Union and the West Coast Credit Union, which is ancillary, and the ancillary fishers. The ancillary fishers have been going through a torrid time in membership, and board has not been working. We had to put interim boards and whatnot, and we realized that, look, okay, let's try something different. Now we have caused the credit union to come on board to assist in redeveloping the fishermen, giving them the energy boost, the confidence that they can come back, the cooperative can work again. That is where the rebuilding together, better together, that's where the collaboration between the sectors, the different sectors of cooperatives come together, concern for cooperative, concern for community. You see, so it really is not a matter of saying, oh, the credit unions are over there and they're regulated by the FSRA and the cooperatives are regulated by the credit, by the registrar, but it's really is one big family, and we have to take care of each other.
Wow. The Credit Union League, I know there are so many credit unions out there. There are some of them that are not probably doing, say, too well. How do you all get involved to, again, getting the theme here, rebuild better together? What it is that you all normally inject to ensure that they get back on their feet or get back in line?
Okay, so yes, you are right by saying that there are some which would need our help, and that is exactly what we're doing, providing assistance, be it financial, educational. I mean, what Mr. Stephen alluded to, right now there is a cooperative, and we both are working together to trying to save it. You understand? That's the collaborative efforts we are doing together through whatever means we may combine and making it be a success. Okay. So right now, because sometimes financial assistance is just one factor. Right. You also have educational assistance. You understand? Because you you give a man a fish, he will be hungry again. But if you teach a man to fish, he could survive. Right. So that is the kind of leadership at the league we are trying to provide, and we are providing.
And you've seen, are there any success stories that you probably would want to share?
Well, right now we are working on something. Hopefully it will be a success. So let me not preempt it. Yes.
Any success stories from your end?
Well, I mean, I just alluded to one of them.
Okay.
Right? And I think there are more to come, because like Mr. Hunt says, there are a lot of others that we're working with to achieve that also. Okay.
All right, because I really want to, I'm sure there are many constraints, and I would like you all to bring those constraints out, that these things are not, not there are always stumbling blocks along the way, so we'll do for our first break. When you come back, we'll get into
and
this.
I will share a story with you then.
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon.
Accident encore. Ni de bœuf mola, on go taureau. Et puis yon belle vache, des machines croisées et moun blessé. Ah non, messieurs dames, bagay sa la kani pou do bout. Stray animals are endangering human lives and property. Livestock owners, please ensure animals do not stray on roads, highways, and public places. Remember, sections of the Animals Act 2005 states stray animals will be seized and put in a pound by authorized persons. Owners will be liable to a fine of $5,000 or 2 years imprisonment or both. Save innocent animals. Save human lives and property. A message from the Department of Agriculture.
What's in the food you're eating? Do you really even know? All the chemicals and hormones used to accelerate their growth. All the artificial flavoring, sweeteners and colors too. We consume and we don't spare a thought for the damage that they'll do. No, think about the children. Think about the children. How will we save them? Chemicals and GMOs are not the solution. Use organic and join. Excessive agrochemical use, additives, and genetically modified foods are harmful to health and the environment. Join the good food revolution. Grow, buy, and consume organic. A message from Rise St. Lucia and the Ministry of Sustainable Development with funding from the GEF Small Grants Program, UNDP. The Good Food Revolution.
Welcome back to the program, Agriculture on the Move, and with me here is Mr. Egbert Stevens, who is the Registrar of Cooperatives, and of course Mr. Jermaine Hunte, who is the manager of the Credit Union League. Gentlemen, before the break, we were talking about successes, and I am hoping that you all will share some other successes. But assistance given, I heard you mention about bonds, and I wanted to find out exactly, how does that work? And also, we'll come back to you, Stevens, and we'll talk about government assistance to, the credit unions and the fishing sector and stuff like that. So, Mr. Hunt.
Last year when this pandemic hit, you know how our economy was in shambles, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point the government would have articulated that they are unable to meet their regular bills and salaries and what have you. And they were the talk of paying persons in bonds and what have you. Mm-hmm. At that time, we as a movement, the credit unions, realized that those were our members that were being affected, because we have in the movement in St. Lucia, we have about approximately 120,000 members. You understand? And what's our population? 170,000. You understand? So that's a substantial amount of members. So when the government made the cry, if you allow me to say, for assistance, we as a movement, we came together and we purchased a substantial amount of bonds, because we understand that purchasing those bonds would allow our members to eat, to get a salary. Because remember, the government would have made several proposals, whether it's to salary-free bonds or whatever, and salary cuts and whatever. And that is something we are very proud of. Because, I don't know if our members know that, but it's something that we did, because we understood if we are a member-centric organization, you understand, we have to do our part. And I would say thank you again to all the credit unions who partake in purchasing, because we allowed food to be on the tables of our members by purchasing those bonds.
Yeah, that's crucial. Yeah. And there's also a system where the government assisted the fishermen, right?
Yes, the government did provide some financial assistance to the fishermen, because, as you know, the fishing sector, the fishing cooperatives are not as liquid as the credit unions. The funds are fairly limited, because you're looking at a sector that is not very large. Just over less than 2,000 fishermen across all the cooperatives. So, as anything else, they made the plea with the government that, look, we need assistance because we're not able to do what we normally did on every day. And the government did answer and give some financial assistance to every fisherman through the different cooperatives.
Yes. I remember that. Moving forward, I'm sure you all encountered lots of bottlenecks along the way. You care to share, Mr. Hunt, any major constraints that you faced in the league?
Well, my stint at the league has been a short one. Okay. I recently took up the post, which is now that I'm in the post, I realize the importance of cooperative and credit unions in our society.
Right.
Because the amount of persons that have benefited from taking an ownership stake, I would say, at the credit union, because it's not just an account you're opening. Right. You're actually taking an ownership stake in your credit union. Right. Yes, there are challenges. Sometimes through regulatory, and what have you. And we are trying to steer the course that way. And as in anything, the bottlenecks, as you mentioned, they are there. Okay. I would not elaborate on it, but they are there. Okay. But what we can do is better it, work to improving it. So instead of coming here and saying X, Y, and Z, I think our mandate is how we could improve on it.
Yes, of course, like the theme.
Yes.
We build better together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Mr. Tell us a bit
Well,
about
from the Department of Cooperatives point of view, looking at the non-financial cooperatives, the theme really resonates in our work plan currently and probably for the next 2 years approximately, that of trying to rebuild the enterprise department of the different farmer, fisher, transport cooperatives, because we know that has been hard hit, and it has what COVID or the pandemic has exposed is that they have not been enterprising enough. They need to do a lot, become a lot more enterprising and stop and expand the, as you say, the food basket. They have too many of them have all their eggs just in one product, and they like to do like what we see in the agriculture by diversify into other product areas. So it has really caused that, and we are currently working with them one at a time to see how we can cause the board of directors, cause the management team to look at other ways of earning income for the membership to better in their lives.
I've been asking that question time and time again when various forums. I'm aware, and going back, I know it's a bit negative, but we still need to bring it up. Some of the problems that have faced various credit unions out there and cooperatives, where there are people who work in those institutions, all right, and for some reason things are not going right. You know, financial problems in terms of embezzlement, you know, and you know you have hardworking fishers, you know, and it is sad to know that this thing happens. And I keep asking my question, it happens over and over, and why isn't up to today, you know, formulas put in place to ensure that these things don't happen?
It's fairly difficult, Mr. Sidney. It's not a black and white situation, because most persons who come to the boards volunteer to come to the board. It's the form of management is of voluntarism. Right. The legislation that we have, although it is very, very comprehensive, it still allows for a lot of patience in getting stuff done. And sometimes that patience resonates with the membership as to do they want it. Okay. There are some memberships who would come over and say, well, the act is done already, let's forget about it and continue, let's move on. And it's fairly difficult when that position is taken for a regulator to act. You know, so you find that we are the new cooperative bill, the pandemic has derailed it. We have gone through the readings of it and everything internally with the departments, and we're just waiting for the Attorney General's chambers to really finalize it and send it to the cabinet ministers or to the parliament. That in it has some new penalties, new sections which are a lot more stringent with those persons who would want to allow the membership to just go ahead, where the regulator now can do some
so you'll have some teeth to bite.
Yes,
I
to bite and to bite hard.
Yeah, I think one of the things we should not lose sight of is it's not remote to just the cooperatives, you know, the embezzlement part of it. I mean, we are now trying to, as Mr. Stevens said, trying to put in more stringent measures. However, it's not remote to, you know, and as he said, it's people volunteer to be on those boards. You understand? And for whatever reason, you know, whether it's personal or not, it shouldn't be, because the share principles go against that. Yes, however, we cannot control those persons, you know, their actions. So yeah, it is. However, as a movement, I think we are trying to better that. Mr. Stephen and myself, we have developed a rapport to try to see how we could better the cooperative movement.
Moving with the theme in mind and your plans moving forward, Mr. Stevens, what's next?
Well, what's next, or what's to continue?
What's to continue?
Yes, because it's not a next.
Well, it's next. What's next to continue?
It's a continuous flow. Really, the department is really going to be looking to all its stakeholders and possible partners to assist it in assisting the farmer, the fisher, the transport cooperatives in redefining themselves, redeveloping themselves, building their enterprise, and being more significant or more self-worth to their membership. And to cause the membership now to also themselves think, look, I can do more than just what I have been doing.
Okay.
Right? So that really is what we're doing, and we're looking to try and see if we could also put better policies in place to strengthen some of what you're saying, prevention of malfeasance and misfeasance, and cause the societies to build and to be a lot more, how do you say it? Forget the term now. That we have more value to
membership.
Yes.
What about you?
Yeah, it's a value added.
Yes.
You understand, and that is what we are based on. I mean, moving forward, what we want to do is, as I said, financial independence. That is what we want to offer our members.
Okay.
You know, we want to know that when a member walk into any credit union, that at the end of the day, they are better, right. whether it's financially. And I mean, there are a lot of things that we are trying to do as a movement. I mean, like from the league's end again, we have just embarked on training. We did a risk training for our members, you know, because we understand in the times that we are in currently, that is an integral part of you understand? So this is what we want to do. We want to continue moving forward and moving forward together.
What's the hype for the day? Anything exciting?
Well, you know, it's only recently that the protocols were revised to allow persons to have some form of congregation, and it came kind of late. So we find that a lot of societies had not really put in any social activities for that purpose. But I'm sure going forward they will, and whereas it is only July 3rd, that's the day, but I think going later in the year there will be other activities. We have International Credit Union Day coming up in October, so there will be other activities that will speak
follow up.
Yes,
that's right. Any final words from you, sir, as we end?
On the end of the league, what I would like to encourage our members is to use your league and of course your credit union to better yourself, because we have a lot of programs. I mean, when you have a credit union account, you get FIPs, the family indemnity plans, all those things, insurances. I mean, some credit unions, the limits are different, but you get protection on your savings and everything. So I think it's incumbent on us to understand that we are owners of our credit unions and treat it as how you would treat your own business.
Definitely, Mr.
And well, to add to what Mr. Hunte is saying, I think we want to remind and encourage the members of the non-financial cooperatives that you are the cooperative. That, like they say in cooperatives, what you put in is what you get out. So if you are not contributing to your cooperative, you're not making it what it's supposed to be, it will give you nothing.
That's right.
So we want to encourage membership to do a lot more. When the cooperative has activities, it has programs, partake in it, so that you will realize the benefits that the cooperative is doing for you.
Well, I would like to thank you all gentlemen for being here. Thank you, Mr. Hunte.
Thank you.
And I wish you success. Like you said, the role that you've taken on is you've not been there for too long, and you sound very energetic, and I can see good results down the road. So I wish you success.
Much
appreciated. Of course, Mr. Stephen's an old head. So I suppose he can take you under his wings and give you some tips.
But, definitely. Well, it's cooperation among
cooperatives. And of course, hey, rebuild better together.
That's right.
Man. You've been watching Agriculture on the Move. Thank you for viewing the program. And remember, agriculture is our business, and eat fresh. St. Lucia's best. The money stays here and your health is in check. And don't forget, be safe, the protocols for COVID. I'm Philip Sidney. Goodbye.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.